It's been almost 2 decades since Shyam Selvadurai burst into the Cannes Lit scene with his award-winning debut novel Funny Boy, about a boy's sexual awakening set amidst political tensions in 1980s Sri Lanka. Other critically acclaimed books followed, including Cinnamon Gardens and Swimming in the Monsoon Sea. And now Shyam is back with his first novel in over 10 years, The Hungry Ghosts. I am starstruck. I loved this book so very much. So much to talk about, but a lot is being made of how long it's been in between books. I suppose the natural question is, why?
Why? Well, I really felt as a writer that I wanted to write about Canada. And the Canada I wanted to write about was the Canada that my family came to, which was a sort of amorphous, what they call the inner ring suburbs of Toronto, like Scarborough, where we ended up. And it's a kind of no man's land in a way. You know, you arrive from a place that has a very specific, landmarks, and then you're in this place, and there's just long boulevards and no street life. You can't just go to the corner and buy bananas from some man, and you feel this sense of being like lost and not being able to center yourself. And I don't know why, but it took me forever to nail that experience down, to get it down, and then also to get the terror of the weather, you know? Like, I mean, now it seems funny to think about it, but when you arrive from the tropics, you suddenly realize that weather can kill you. You know, you can just go out on a regular day without being properly dressed and you can do serious damage to yourself. And that, for someone coming from the tropics, is a very bizarre idea and a very frightening idea. So I wanted to try and capture all that, and it just took me forever.
And you did, I mean, you captured, well, the whole book is very vivid in its description, but I found the sort of immigrant's experience and the bleakness of that to be exceptionally vivid. Does that still remain for you?
Well, no, because I've incorporated it and moved on, but it is a very bleak experience. I think the act of migration is traumatic because you're usually torn away from your land because you have to leave. Even if you're coming as an economic immigrant, you usually leave because of other circumstances. So your home no longer wants you or rejects you in a way. And so then you're forced to leave and come to a strange place. And it's so hard, you know, to get started and to begin again. And you know, we were lucky, we were privileged because we spoke and read and wrote English really well. But I mean, for the people who aren't, it just must be horrendous, you know.
Look, there's a lot in this title, The Hungry Ghost. Can you tell us about the myth or the metaphor of a hungry ghost?
Well, a hungry ghost in Buddhist myth is described as a being who has a mouth that's the size of an eye of a needle and a really big belly. So in other words, they can never feed their hunger. And it stands as a metaphor for human desire, because no matter how much we have, we always want more and more and more. And in Buddhist myth, if you're really greedy in your human life, you're born as a hungry ghost as a punishment.
Now, how does it pertain to the storyline and the characters in the book? Because there's obviously a character of a grandmother, and that's a sort of obvious connection. But we all experience this in our lives. We're all a hungry ghost at varying points, correct?
Yes, we are. I think I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting something beautiful, or, you know, but I think where desire goes off the rails is when it's causing damage to other people and serious damage to yourself. And that is true of the protagonist in the novel and also of the grandmother. And they both have the same flaw, which is they love with the singularity with which the unloved do love. And that is the problem for them. You know, they just have this incredible, you know, this sort of strangling love that they feel for other people. And so that's where the metaphor of the hungry ghost ties in. Because, you know, in the end, you have to love yourself. You have to be your own lover in a way, you know, and they're not.
I mean, before I let you go, I want to, your contemplation of this has to do with the sort of concept of karma, which has different meanings for different people. Does that contemplation change the way that you live your life? Yes,
it does, because I think that everything you do or say or think produces an outcome, and it's a permanent, and you're stuck with that outcome. So I think it allows you to act in a very mindful manner if you think about life that way.
I wish we had more time. There's so much to get into. I highly, highly suggest this book, and highly suggest you head on to Pages in Kensington tonight at 7 o'clock. There's a book signing and a reading. Shyam will, of course, be there answering your questions as well. More information at breakfasttelevision.ca. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Great pleasure to meet you. We're gonna